all-new Law & Order next Wednesday on NBC.
Coming up, Air Force head coach Fisher DeBerry apologizes for his comments regarding African-American football players.
A suicide attack in Israel coinciding with threatening words from the leader of Iran.
And we look at the best of the worst of Carol Owens.
From Colorado's news leader, this is the #1 rated 9 News 10.
We need to get the planes here now.
Growing in grand desperation, thousands of Americans remain stranded in Mexico in the wake of Hurricane Wilma, many of them from Colorado. Good evening, I'm Del Arcala.
I'm Bob Kendrick. It's been nearly a week since Wilma made landfall along the Yucatan, but still, tonight, many American tourists are waiting for a flight home and enduring difficult conditions there. The airport in Cancun is just starting to fly tourists out of that city again. Many have already been bused 185 miles east to Santa Merida in the hopes of catching a flight there. We spoke with Dan Farland from Parker, who described what his family has endured the past several days.
I mean, you live in Colorado all my life. You know, it's a obscure, just this concept of what it is to be in a hurricane. We've been in the shelter since last Saturday morning. When the hurricane went through, there's a couple from Highlands Ranch that came so close to dying. It's just, I can't even begin to tell you. Blew out the windows and came within just inches, shards of major glass within inches of just, hitting them.
Farland says the American officials they've encountered so far have been less than helpful.
I go to the embassy today and say, what can you do for us? Are you alive? Yes, well, gracias, thank you very much. But what are you going to do to get us out of here? The Brits got out of here, the Irish got out of here, the Japanese got out of here. What are you going to do to help us? Nothing.
Facing mounting criticism over evacuation plans for Americans still in Mexico, State Department officials insist they're working as quickly as they can.
We're focusing our attention first on those shelters where there were reports of difficult circumstances, either water running out or signs of criminality or other kinds of unsanitary conditions that needed to be addressed.
While much of his anger is directed at the U.S. government, Dan Farland says he's very thankful for the help his family has received from the staff of the hotel that we're staying at. He hopes to catch a flight home from Merida late tonight or tomorrow, but he couldn't get no guarantees.
A third plane load of tourists from Mexico arrived on a Frontier Airlines flight at DIA this evening. Another expected early tomorrow morning. Plane arrived around 5:30 p.m. Frontier has brought roughly 360 people back from the hurricane zone. Each had a story to tell, including a couple on their honeymoon in Cancun.
We were in Cinemark, first of all. Spent 2 nights in Cinemark. Thank goodness we had 3 firefighters there, searching out. They were on vacation, searching it for us, searching the roof, got us out of there. Soon after we got us out of there, underground parking collapsed. So we, luckily for them, we were alive.
In Florida, there is also a considerable amount of frustration over the delivery of food, water, and gasoline in the wake of the hurricane. The mayor of Miami-Dade County says FEMA supplies are running low, and one distribution center has completely run out of supplies. FEMA has acknowledged delays in getting supplies to the region. It says more help is on the way.
Denver police say they are investigating whether a man who sexually assaulted a woman last night is the serial rapist they've been looking for. The attack happened at the victim's home near 6th and Jersey. That's in the Hilltop neighborhood in East Denver. Reporter Buzzy Kanani joins us tonight from DPD headquarters. Buzzy, police are warning women to be cautious.
They reminded women that the man who attacked last night is still out there. They, women in the neighborhood where it happened, say the crime has forced them to change. They're being alert.
I'm looking for everything and everyone.
For Silly Maxie, the fear created by a sexual assault in her neighborhood means less freedom.
I won't be out in front or out and back after dark.
It was still early in the evening, just before 8 last night, when police surrounded the area. They were looking for the man who wore a ski mask as he attacked a woman who had just returned home. He was dressed in all black, just like the serial rapist linked by DNA to 9 sex assaults in the metro area and suspected in at least 3 more.
If this is indeed the same suspect, he has drugged a variety of times. And yes, we would like to take this time to caution women to please be aware of their surroundings.
I remember Brett Brantz.
Maxie is reminded of a tense time period for women in the metro area earlier this year when another serial rapist, Brent J. Brent, was on a rampage.
This guy's the same kind of guy that will do that and find it a challenge to come back into this neighborhood as much as everybody's alert and try again.
Denver police don't know yet if the attacker here is the same man now wanted in 3 jurisdictions. Whoever he has victimized an entire neighborhood.
I couldn't sleep. I was anxious.
He has stolen their sense of security. The woman in the Hilltop neighborhood was attacked just as she was getting out of her car to go into her house. So today, police are asking women to be aware of their surroundings before they get out of their cars, and also to lock their house doors behind them. Bob?
Buzzy Kanani, DPD headquarters. Buzzy, thank you. And at this time, last night, the suspect is described only, or at this time tonight, he's described only as a black male with a medium build. Again, he was wearing dark clothing and a ski mask. Anyone with information should call Denver police.
Fisher DeBerry has apologized for comments he made yesterday about race and athletic ability. The Air Force Academy football head coach became a big topic of conversation after suggesting black athletes have a natural advantage of whites. 9 News reporter Andrew Resnick joins us. Andrew, there are a wide range of opinions on DeBerry and comments.
Well, some are shocked that in this day and age he would say what he said, especially during a news conference with cameras running. Others say it's no big deal, and the media is blowing it out of proportion, but everybody seems to have some sort of an opinion. This on Tuesday.
The other team had a lot more Afro-American players than we did, and they ran a lot faster than we did.
Interesting.
Afro-American kids can run very, very well.
Wow, what's the big deal about it?
Then this today.
I realize the things that I said might have been hurtful to many people, and I want everyone to understand But I never intended to offend anyone.
As a black person, I did not find him offensive. I just found him honestly dumb.
If you're just joining us late, Barry's comments dominated the entire afternoon show on AM 950, a sports talk radio station.
You just can't come off the top with this. You just can't do it because somewhere there's a victim that nobody knows about. That's the case.
I don't think he's racist and nowhere even close to it.
I think it's being blown out of proportion. It reminded some of other racially oriented comments that were enough to undo careers.
It almost reminds me a little bit of way back when Jimmy the Greek's comments got him so much in trouble.
You can remember Howard Cosell's comments years ago, and that was a pretty much a career-ending statement that he made.
Still, there are others who say DeBerry was just speaking from experience.
The facts speak themselves. When you look at skilled positions, who mostly take up those positions? Black athletes.
Few are calling for the coach's dismissal, but most agree public figures have to be careful in their choice of words. You heard the references to Jimmy the Greek and Howard Cosell. In the first case, Jimmy the Greek attributed the skill of black players to slave plantation techniques. In the second case, Cosell made a comparison between a black athlete and an animal. About all I'm going to say right here from this chair on that. We'll see if DeBerry's quick apology brings an equally quick ending to this story. Adele?
All right, Andrew Resnick. Thanks, Andrew. Two state politicians, both Democrats, offered opinions on various comments as well. State Senator Peter Gronk said, quote, the academy should be a symbol for what is right and good in America. The comments offered by Coach DeBerry did not live up to that ideal. Senator Dan Grossman says Coach DeBerry should resign, and if he doesn't, the academy should let him go.
The Fall Festival at St. Elementary School will go as planned tomorrow and will be held in honor of one of its students who died today. The school says first grader Tristan Carpenter was playing outside during recess and collapsed. Paramedics were called but were unable to revive him. The school says Tristan had a pre-existing medical condition. Counselors will be on hand at the school tomorrow to talk with students and staff. Colorado Senators Wayne Ellard and Ken Salazar are among the growing number of lawmakers unhappy with Japan's continuing ban on the import of U.S. beef. More than a dozen lawmakers are threatening to push for additional tariffs on Japan if they don't lift the embargo. It's been in place since December 2003, when the U.S. first confirmed its case of mad cow disease. Allard says that the embargo has cost Colorado $340 million.
5 people are dead, and at least 25 others wounded after a Palestinian suicide bomber struck an open-air market in northern Israel. That's the top story on lit news around the world today. The attack happened at the entrance of a food stand in the town of Hadera. Islamic Jihad has taken responsibility for the bombing. It said it was in retaliation for the killing of a top Islamic leader by Israeli troops earlier this week. This was the first suicide bombing in Israel since August. Just hours before the attack, Iran's president, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, called for the destruction of the Jewish state. It's the first time in years that a high-ranking official has called for Israel's eradication. Iran does not recognize the existence of Israel, and the country's president also denounced to normalize relations between the two. The United Nations is asking for more earthquake relief funds for Pakistan. The UN says $580 million has been pledged by 60 donor nations, but much of that will be used for reconstruction. The UN says winter is moving in, and it needs money to provide shelter for more than 3 million people left homeless by the quake.
Still ahead on 9 News at 10.
A looming home field identity crisis is the name Invesco Field on the house.
Also, the Division of Wildlife tries to solve the mystery surrounding the reintroduction of wild lynx in Colorado. More fabulous fall weather today, but there's precip in the extended forecast. I'm Kathy Sain. I'll have the details.
And in sports, Brad May tells us what to expect when Vancouver comes to town.
All that and more when 9 News at 10 continues. You're watching 9 News with Tara Cowan, Bob Kendrick, Kathy Sabin, and Drew Soisher on KUSA, Colorado's first and only local news presented in high